Welcome to a story that not only touches the heart but also stirs the soul. Imagine a small town called Hyannis, where time seems to stand still, peaceful, quiet, until the shadow of fate descends. Emma, a 5-year-old girl with eyes that once sparkled like stars, now lives in silence, imprisoned by the pain of losing her parents in a tragic accident. But she is not alone. 6 German shepherds, the last loyal companions her parents left behind, have become the light piercing through her darkness. From gloomy days drowned in sorrow to the miraculous moment when their loyalty saves a life before thousands of witnesses, Emma's story is a journey of loss, love, and hope. Can a little girl find her voice again amidst a shattered world? Can the power of human kindness and wordless loyalty heal the deepest wounds? Join us as we step into this tale, where dogs are not just pets, but heroes, and where a community rises to protect what's most precious. Don't look away, for this is a story you'll never forget. Hyannis, a small town nestled along quiet roads and sprawling fields, is a place where life seems to move slower than anywhere else. Simple wooden houses, rows of shady trees, and the gentle whisper of the wind paint a rare picture of tranquility. But in a small house standing alone near the edge of town, that peace has been replaced by a profound sadness, like a shadow that never fades. Emma, a 5-year-old girl with tangled brown hair and large eyes now perpetually tinged with sorrow, lives there with her aging grandparents, Margaret and Walter. Her life changed forever on that fateful day when a devastating traffic accident claimed her parents, renowned German shepherd trainers known throughout the region. Emma's parents, James and Caroline, were more than just dog trainers. They were artists of the bond between humans and animals. The German shepherds they nurtured were not only obedient, but carried an extraordinary intelligence and rare loyalty. The joyful barks, the steady rhythm of commands, and the warm love radiating from that little family once made up Emma's entire world. She grew up amidst outdoor training sessions, running and playing with the dogs, laughing under the Hyannis sun. But then, on a rainy afternoon, an out-of-control truck crashed into James and Caroline's car on the narrow road leading back to town. No one survived that accident. In an instant, Emma's laughter was replaced by silence, a heavy, profound silence, as if she had locked all her emotions deep inside. Now, in the old house with its faded walls, Emma lives with her grandparents. Margaret, with her white hair and trembling hands, always tries to keep the home warm with simple meals like potato soup or toasted bread. Walter, a tall, thin man with a pensive gaze, often sits by the fireplace, recounting old stories about Emma's parents in the hope of rekindling a spark of light within her. But all their efforts seem futile. Emma doesn't speak, doesn't cry, doesn't laugh. She just sits there, her vacant eyes staring out the window, as if the world outside no longer exists. The grief has turned her into a small, silent shadow, distant and detached. But not everything has abandoned Emma. 6 German shepherds, Max, Luna, Rex, Bella, Shadow, and Duke, remain by her side. They are the last dogs her parents trained, carrying within them a spirit of discipline and unshakable loyalty. To Emma, they are more than pets. They are companions, the final pieces of the family she once had. Every night they lie around her bed, their steady breathing a silent comfort. By day, they follow her through the house, resting their heads on her lap when she sits motionless or standing beside her as she gazes out at the distant fields. They ask for nothing, no loud barks, no disturbances, just quietly stay there, waiting, as if they understand that the little girl needs time to heal. Time passes, but grief keeps Emma trapped in a wordless world. Outside, Hyannis continues to buzz with the sounds of children playing and cars passing by, but inside that house, everything seems frozen. Her grandparents try to fill the void with love, but their age and their own sorrow gradually wear them down. Margaret often stays up late, knitting small woolen scarves for Emma, hoping she'll feel some warmth. Walter spends hours fixing things around the house, though his hands are no longer as steady as they once were. They want to protect Emma, but they don't know how to pull her out of that silence. Only the 6 German shepherds seem to reach her. Each morning, as the sun just begins to rise over the Hyannis fields, they are already stationed outside her door. Max, the largest with glossy black fur and a resolute gaze, always takes the lead. Luna, smaller with bright eyes, often stands beside him, her tail gently wagging like a greeting. Rex, Bella, Shadow, and Duke line up behind, waiting patiently. They don't bark, don't scratch at the door, just stand there, like a loyal army guarding their little girl. Sometimes, Emma cracks the door open, peering at them through the narrow gap. Their presence is a quiet invitation, a reminder that she isn't entirely alone. Gradually, Emma begins to change, though very slowly. She starts sitting beside them, placing her small hand on Max's head, feeling the warmth of his fur under her fingers. Luna often nudges her hand gently with her nose, as if trying to coax out a smile. Rex, with his serious demeanor, simply lies still, letting her lean on him when she needs to. Bella likes to curl up at her feet, while Shadow and Duke keep watch from a distance, their eyes never straying from her. Those moments make the house feel less oppressive. Margaret notices Emma breathing more evenly when they're around, and Walter sees her eyes soften each time she strokes them. To Emma, the dogs are not just memories of her parents. They are her lifeline, the thread tying her to the happy days she's lost. But life isn't as simple as those warm moments. Emma's grandparents, though they love her dearly, can't hide the mounting financial strain. Vet bills, food for the 6 dogs, electricity, and water all far exceed the means of 2 elderly people living on a meager pension. Their savings dwindle, and every night, after Emma goes to bed, Margaret and Walter sit at the worn dining table, facing a harsh reality. Margaret clutches her teacup tightly, her eyes red as she thinks of giving up the dogs. Walter shakes his head, his voice choked. They're all she has left of James and Caroline. But we can't go on like this. One cold morning, after days of inner struggle, they decide to tell Emma. She sits by the window, Max resting his chin on her knee as usual. Walter kneels beside her, his voice trembling. Emma, we've tried everything, but we might have to find new homes for the dogs. Emma doesn't respond. Her hand, mid-stroke on Max's fur, freezes. Then, without a word, she stands, walks past her grandparents, goes into her room, and shuts the door. Inside, she curls up under the blankets, turning her back to the world. Meals left outside her door go untouched. Margaret's gentle knocks receive no answer. Even when the dogs scratch at the door, Emma doesn't open it. Outside her room, the 6 German shepherds grow restless. They pace the hallway, noses pressed to the crack under the door, ears twitching as if sensing something wrong. Max lingers the longest, his gaze steady as if to say, "We won't abandon her." But they don't bark or whine, just wait with an uncanny patience. Still, they don't give up. One day, Max starts bringing his leash, placing it in front of Emma's door. Luna, Rex, Bella, Shadow, and Duke follow suit, their eyes full of resolve. They stand there, as if saying, "We're still here. Come with us." One morning, after many days of silence, Emma finally opened the door. Max stood right in front of her, leash in his mouth, tail wagging gently. She looked into his eyes, then slowly took the leash, attaching it to each dog's collar. Without a word, she led them outside. The air in Hyannis that day was crisp, with dew blanketing the park's grass. The 6 German shepherds walked in perfect sync beside the tiny girl, creating a wondrous sight. Passers-by stopped, whispering in amazement, "Look at that, such a small girl leading a whole pack of big dogs." Emma paid no attention. She breathed in the fresh air, felt the tug of the leashes, and for the first time in months, a part of the burden in her heart lifted. Then, an unexpected event occurred, changing everything. As Emma and the dogs strolled near the park's lake, Max suddenly froze, ears perked, eyes fixed on the distance. A child, about 4 years old, had slipped while playing and fallen into the water. No one nearby noticed. The child's parents were absent, and the lake quickly swallowed the little boy. Without hesitation, Max bolted forward, the leash slipping from Emma's hand. Luna, Rex, Bella, Shadow, and Duke followed instantly, moving like a perfectly trained unit. What happened next unfolded swiftly yet astonishingly. Max leapt into the water, gently but firmly grabbing the child's shirt. Luna swam alongside, keeping the boy balanced, while Rex pushed from behind, guiding them to shore. Bella, Shadow, and Duke stood on the bank, barking loudly to draw the attention of those nearby. Within minutes, the child was pulled to safety, coughing and sputtering but alive. The crowd in the park rushed over. One person called for help, another knelt to check on the boy. Emma stood there, heart pounding, watching her 6 dogs return to her, soaked but calm. Someone whispered, "Those dogs. They knew exactly what to do." Another said, "I've never seen anything like it." The rescue spread like wildfire. Someone in the park had recorded the entire event, and the video of Emma and her 6 German shepherds saving the child was shared across Hyannis and then the nation. Millions of views and thousands of comments flooded social media, praising the dog's courage, intelligence, and teamwork. But as reporters dug deeper, they uncovered Emma's story, a 5-year-old girl who lost her parents in an accident, living in silence ever since, now facing the threat of losing her 6 dogs due to her grandparents' financial struggles. The image of Emma standing among the towering dogs, her eyes sad yet resilient, touched the hearts of millions. The community didn't stand still. Messages of sympathy and donations poured in from everywhere. Dog lovers sent food, veterinary organizations offered free care for the 6 German shepherds. Neighbors in Hyannis brought groceries to the house, and local businesses chipped in to repair Margaret and Walter's aging home. A fund was established, quickly raising enough money to ensure Emma would never have to part with her loyal companions. Margaret hugged Walter tightly, tears streaming down her face. "We don't have to worry anymore." Walter nodded, and for the first time in months he smiled. The days that followed felt like a dream. Each time Emma walked the dogs, Hyannis residents waved hello, and children ran up to pet Max and Luna. The once silent house now buzzed with voices and warmth from visitors. But the greatest change came from Emma herself. One peaceful afternoon, as sunlight streamed through the window onto the floor, Emma sat in a circle of her 6 dogs. She looked at them, her hand stroking Max's fur, and suddenly, a small sound escaped her lips, "Max." The room seemed to hold its breath. Max's ears perked up, his eyes brightening as he looked at her. Margaret stood at the doorway, hand over her mouth. Walter stopped fixing a chair and turned around. Emma took a breath and continued, her voice shaky but clearer, "Luna. Rex. Bella. Shadow. Duke." Each dog responded, tails wagging furiously, moving closer to nuzzle her. They licked her hands, pressed their bodies against her as if to embrace her. Tears welled up in Margaret's eyes, and Walter turned away to quickly wipe his face. For the first time since the accident, Emma's voice filled the air, not out of sorrow, but love. The 6 German shepherds surrounded Emma like a protective shield, as if saying, "We're always here." Thanks to their loyalty and the community's support, Emma rediscovered the light in her soul. She began to smile more, played with the dogs in the yard, and even helped her grandparents with chores. The once cold house grew warm again, not just from family love, but from the compassion of Hyannis and beyond. As time passed, Emma grew up alongside her 6 dogs. They remained faithfully by her side through her childhood years, and as they aged, she cared for them as they had once protected her. Max passed away first, on a peaceful afternoon, lying beside Emma with a contented look in his eyes. Emma cried, but this time it wasn't from grief, these were tears of gratitude. She buried Max under the large oak tree behind the house, where she and her parents once played. The other dogs followed over the years, but with each loss, Emma no longer stayed silent. She shared memories of them with her grandparents, her voice growing stronger. Though loss remained a part of life, Emma was no longer trapped by silence or grief. Thanks to the 6 German shepherds and the love from the community, she learned that loyalty and kindness could heal the deepest wounds. Hyannis wasn't just where she lived, it became her home, a place where she rediscovered herself, step by step, alongside the 4-legged friends forever etched in her heart. And so, from a little girl imprisoned by silence amid Hyannis's darkest days, Emma found her light again, not only through the steadfast loyalty of her 6 German shepherds, but also through the strength of a community that never abandoned her. The once frigid house now brimmed with warmth, her small voice ringing out like a melody of hope, and her four-legged companions became timeless symbols of loyalty. But Emma's story doesn't end here. Her journey with these heroic dogs is just the beginning of countless wonders waiting to be told. Do you believe love and loyalty can change a destiny? If this story stirred your heart, don't stop here. Like, share, and follow us to uncover more inspiring tales where miracles spring from the simplest things. Because out there, more honest and quiet heroes are waiting for you to hear their stories.